How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Oh, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
The place I was working being taken over. I'd known the bloke for 10, 15 years, more than that. Family had worked for him and they took it over. And there were some jobs going, I know there was. So I went and see him. I said, any jobs going, mate? Like you would, you know, went down to the house, see him. He said, well there is, he said, but there's only one. And David's got that, which I knew, Dave, I knew the bloke worked for me, you know. I said, alright, he said, but there ain't a job for you, I'm sorry, but there ain't a job for you. So I left it at that, thought that's fair enough. I went back to see David and said to him, you know, there's only one job down there, you've got that. And he said, the exact words he said to me, do you know why you ain't got that job? He said, because he told my father, his father told my father, he wouldn't give you that job because you're the wrong side of the tracks. You're a traveller, you can't be trusted.
And then I said to my daughter-in-law, because I come back here crying, because I'd never done nothing wrong in my life. And I said to my daughter-in-law, she said, well, if I was you, I'd take this further. Right? She said, because I know you. Right? So anyway, I went and got a solicitor and told him exactly what had happened, how many times I'd went, and I had to tell different people, the area managers and things like that, and we met. And I said to him, I said, look, I said, it's a waste of time you talking to me, because I know exactly what's going to happen. I said, I'm going to be sacked at the end of the day. I said, in all my life I've worked. I said, I've never been sacked from a job yet. And he said, well, you're going to have to tell. I said, I'm not telling you nothing, because I'm sick of talking to you. Right? I said, I never took it. I paid for it, and that was it. And I went. Anyway, at the end of the day, the solicitor told them that was unfair dismissal, race discrimination, and they paid me £17,500 because they was wrong. So I don't look no different than anybody else. I can't say to them, well look, I come from a gypsy family, you know, so if I talk a bit different than you and I don't understand something, you know, you'd have to tell me. But I can do this job perfect, but they wouldn't employ you for that. They can't get it, if they know they're travellers, it's like my girl, right? She daren't tell people she's a traveller, because if she told them she was a traveller, they wouldn't let her do the work she's doing. A lot of travellers today should stand up and be counted. Because there always been this sort of people who stands back, oh, let it go, don't say nothing. You know, and we can't do that no more. I won't do it.
Yeah, it's a lot worse for travellers. I know a lot of people that have gone for jobs and because of their address, they don't get the job. Not because of... They can be very professional and got every paperwork and they're very suited to this job. And although you don't get it said to your face why you haven't got the job, you know full well why you haven't got it and that you are treated differently.
It's a reoccurring when you move to a new site. Local pubs, clubs, none of them let you in. It's purely the fact that we're travellers.
Some people just get scared. They see that they think, oh, Jippo's trouble. And that's how some people are. But it's wrong. They don't take notice of the people that are on there at the time. They just sit there and think, well, they're going to cause trouble, we're not letting them in. There's only 4 of us. And there'd never been any problems on the site as far as we knew. I mean, there was obviously people before us, but as far as we knew, they hadn't caused any problems, and we definitely didn't. But obviously, somewhere along the lines, they didn't like us, and they just didn't want us on there.
Okay, well, basically, it was the year before I went to college, and we were just trying to get some work experience because we thought that it would help us in the future. And it was just a little shop, it was just a little clothing shop in the town. And we'd heard that they'd have vacancies going. So we went in there and they said that they would post us the application form, the job application form, through the post. And the woman behind the counter was very nice to me. She spoke to me quite pleasantly. She asked for my address and that was fine. My friend went to give her address as well, and because her address is actually the site, because it's the only site in that area, they all of a sudden were, no, we haven't got any vacancies, and we'd like to ask you to leave the shop.
If you could sum it up in one sentence how it makes you feel, what would you say?
One sentence, I'd probably say just really derogatory. It makes you feel so much lower than everyone else. It makes you feel really inadequate.
Thank you.
Deborah Charles of the Suffolk Hate Crime Service explains what constitutes discrimination and what you can do about it.
Right, so I'm Deborah Charles, Supervisor of the Suffolk Hate Crime Service. Now, our definition of hate crime is any incident where an individual, whether it's the victim or someone else, perceives that the person is being targeted because of something about them and they're being discriminated against. And as far as the hate crime service in Suffolk, we include race, age, disability, both sensory and physical and mental disabilities. We also include gender, transgender and sexual orientation. And within the Gypsy and Traveller community, they fit into the race element of that. If somebody's had an incident happen to them, first and foremost, we always recommend people contact the local police. They can either ring the police telephone number. If it's a serious incident, we'd always recommend the 999. Or for Suffolk, they could dial the 01473 613 500 number and report an incident. Or if they see a police officer nearby, tell them what's happened. Sometimes though people don't feel comfortable telling the police direct, and that's when people come to us. We can have a phone call, we could have an email, we could have somebody ring us up and say, I want to tell you something. We can arrange to go and meet them, whether it's their home or whether they want to meet us somewhere else, that they feel safe and secure meeting us. Or through another agency, they could go into an agency that's one of our reporting centres, such as One Voice, and speak to one of the workers and say, I've got a concern, I want to speak to someone, and we can arrange what suits them and where they feel safe to tell us. We always appreciate that not everybody wants their information passed on to the police, and there are concerns for people about that information being passed on and who would know about it. But there are occasions when we have to break confidentiality. If there's somebody's at risk, whether it's a vulnerable adult or a child, we would need to tell the police of that. But also we can tell the police officers the information without always disclosing where that source has come from, if it helps for them identify some information. But we'd always recommend people to have that confidence to come forward and speak to the police, and if we can support that, we would do.